Welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Rachel Roller. Time now to get you caught up on some of the other stories making headlines today. The leader of the Proud Boys has been released from police custody and ordered by a judge to remain outside of Washington, D.C. Henry Enrique Tarrio was arrested Monday after arriving in the nation's capital. Now, President Trump supporters have been gathering for a rally today while Congress votes to certify the Electoral College ballots. Tarrio is charged with possession of a firearm magazine and destruction of property. Now, that's after allegedly burning a Black Lives Matter banner at a historic black church last month. Tarrio's due back in court in June. Well, not such a high honor. New Jersey and New York topping the list of states people are leaving the most during the pandemic. The Garden State led the nation, 70% of people moving out, while only 30% headed in, according to the United Van Line's annual 2020 moving survey. New York State and Illinois tying for second, while Vermont, Idaho, and Oregon led the nation in welcoming new residents. And in college football's strangest season, one thing remains constant: Alabama just dominating. Last night, Crimson Tide receiver Devonta Smith took home that coveted Heisman Trophy as the nation's top football player. Smith becomes the third receiver to win the Heisman and first since Desmond Howard in 1991. But surprisingly, he's just Bama's third recipient of that award. Bama's going to play Ohio State for the national championship on Monday.
This is unbelievable. I think they had 3 people in the top 5.
But with the fact
Alabama.
that how good Bama is, that 3 people only have won the Heisman Trophy, that's
throughout
surprising.
all their history. Yeah, they're like the Patriots of college football, and they'll play Ohio State
on Monday.
Big one. All right, thanks, Rachel. We're moving on now to Kenosha, Wisconsin. Once again on high alert after the Kenosha police officer who shot Jacob Blake 7 times in the back will not face any charges. And joining us now, national security analyst Adam Roosevelt. To talk about all this, Adam, good to have you back on Wake Up America. Do you expect more rioting to break out in Kenosha? We saw some rioting last night. It seemed to be peaceful for the most part, but do you expect this to kind of continue until something happens there one way or the other?
Hey, thanks for having me back on, Rob. You know, I think that what we see on ground is going to be a reality, and we have to look at what's happening currently quickly within a time frame. You know, we normally see quick riots. We normally see a lot of people taking to the streets. So I'll tell you the countdown has already started. I will tell you also there's a lot going on with the Kyle Rittenhouse situation as well.
Right.
So I think these two issues are kind of being combined in the media. So I anticipate that folks will continue on the path of potential rioting and protesting. There's going to need to be some advocacy to kind of quell the rebellion before it starts.
Oh, it's just terrible that this is the state of America right now. That, you know, we keep seeing these violent riots. You mentioned 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse. He pleaded not guilty yesterday after killing 2 people during the Kenosha riot, saying it was self-defense. Do you seeing it that way, and do you think that this video, the many videos, there are several in this particular case, do you think they help his case?
You know, the case is going to be hard to determine. You know, I know that he did post bail, a $2 million bail, which is quite high. But I'll tell you that, you know, it's going to be an ongoing conversation. I know that there's a lot going on surrounding this because it's a topic of race relations, which is very difficult and seems to be a topic that continues to be #1 in our country. So it's not going to be an easy thing. This shouldn't be prosecuted without looking at the evidence and taking into account all the things that occurred. So I would hope that the law enforcement, I would hope that the attorneys are not allowing public opinion to influence this case, but we need to look at the details a lot further for sure.
Back to Jacob Blake, the judge indicated that self-defense was the reason for the shooting here. Now, that officer, that white police officer, fired his gun 7 times. I know that you've seen the video multiple times. What are your thoughts?
You know, it's an interesting observation that I've taken. I know that he was trying to enter the vehicle. From what we can see from the video footage, you know, there didn't look as if there was a weapon, but then the investigative reports had said there was a knife on the floor and potentially that he was trying to reach for that. You know, it's a very difficult situation when it's life or death and law enforcement officers have to respond to an event or even a traffic stop. So I think there's going to be a question of how much lethal force should be used in these type of events, and then what is the maximum level of energy you should put into lethality, if you will, really to quell the situation and bring it to a state of peace, if you will.
Yeah, and there was a warrant. He had his back turned to the police. He wasn't listening to commands. It just seems, it's such a tragedy to see this continue to happen. We do have some breaking news right now, Adam. This just happening moments ago. This out of England this morning. A UK judge denying bail to WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. So at least it looks like for now he will not be extradited. There was a possibility that Mexico was on the table, and he still needs to face justice in the state of Virginia. But I wanted to get your thoughts as that news just broke.
Thank you, Rob. It's an interesting always to look at whistleblower protections. I'm not going to advocate whether or not, I believe he should be protected, but I will tell you that there has to be laws in the United States that do protect whistleblowers. There's a lot of things that happen inside the U.S. government. There are a lot of things that cannot continue forward. We saw with Edward Snowden what happened with the prison program of NSA, which happened under the Obama administration, where they were illegally spying and using technology to spy on U.S. citizens, which is a violation of the Constitution. And we can't allow government overreach, and I'm a limited government person entirely. So we need to look at that, and we need to make sure that those protections are there. But again, national security is very important. So we need to make sure whoever reports this information, that it doesn't damage our national security in the process.
All right, good stuff as always. Adam Roosevelt, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.